Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on Friday, the 22nd of January. In the news this morning, we'll be covering off on the cricket with the Super Smash taking place yesterday. Kane Williamson got in on the action and also we'll give you a roundup of the international cricket as well. The Prada Cup is back in action today as they kick off the final weekend of the round robin action. Then we also have A-League news for you and basketball news from both the NBA and the ANBL as well. Yes, as we said, this is your best way to start the day up to speed with all of the important sports news. And as I said, the Prada Cup is back in action today. There are two races on today. The first one will be a ghost race between Ineos Team UK and American Magic. American Magic trying to patch up their boat ready for the semi-finals. The Ineos Team UK have to turn up to the start line, get across the start line, and then they'll pick up the point. The race will be abandoned a minute or so afterwards. The second race today is Luna Rossa against Ineos Team UK. Now that one matters, and as the currently Ineos Team UK lead 4-0. Have 4 points with 4 wins from their 4 races. Luna Rossa have 2 wins from their 4 races. So Luna Rossa needing to beat Ineos Team UK twice to challenge for that automatic final position. So that race will go ahead properly with Luna Rossa taking on Ineos Team UK today. Over in the A-League, and there was no action yesterday, but today there is with the Sydney FC taking on Central Coast Mariners. That will kick off at 9 p.m. This evening. Central Coast Mariners currently sat in 4th place. And Sydney FC in 6th place. Sydney FC have only played 2 games so far, so got games to catch up. Central Coast, if they win, though, will go top of the table in that one. So a clash that'll impact the top end of the table there. Over in the NBL, and yesterday we saw the Bullets take on the Hawks. The Hawks won that one 90-82. But in more relevant news, tonight is the Breakers' first game of the season, playing the 36ers. That starts at 9:30 p.m. The Breakers have had injuries and may be missing a star or two ahead of this one, but looking forward to their start to the season and say they have the depth to deal with that. So obviously, we'll bring you up to date with how that one went tomorrow morning on the Morning Sports Briefing, coming to you live at 7 a.m. every single morning on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Also, you can listen to the podcast. You can just search for New Zealand Sports Radio on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all those wonderful places. Over in the NBA, and a host of action yesterday with 9 games taking place. A couple of key ones in there. Saw the 76ers beat the Celtics 117-109. The Celtics being the 76ers being led by Joel Embiid with 42 points and a double-double as well with 10 rebounds. A team effort from the Celtics, though, with Jaylen Brown top scoring with 23. You also had Marcus Smart with 25 points. Daniel Theis coming off the bench for a double-double, 10 rebounds and 23 points as they took their loss to the 76ers, who with Joel with that 42 points really leading the way. The other game saw the Clippers beat the Kings 115-96. Kawhi Leonard led the way with 32 points, helped by a double-double off the bench by Ivica Zubac, 12 rebounds and 11 points. Now, That sees 76ers top of the Eastern Conference with 10 wins and 5 losses ahead of the Bucks and the Celtics. Over in the Western Conference, the Clippers are top now, ahead of the Lakers and the Jazz. So very tight at the top of the Western Conference, with just one game separating the Clippers, Lakers, and Jazz in that one. The Pelicans will be back in action today. Steve Adams' team will be taking on the Jazz at 4 p.m. So do catch up on that one today. Over in the cricket then, and quickly from on the international scene, Afghanistan beat Ireland in their first one-day international that was held in the UAE. They were led by their wicketkeeper, Gurbaz, who scored 127 runs from 127 balls, obviously taking player of the match in that one as well. Today it sees Sri Lanka take on England in the second test match. That'll start today, so we'll keep you up to date with how that goes over the 5 days, well, or as many days as it goes on for. Super Smash action yesterday. We saw 2 games with the Northern Spirits taking on the Canterbury Magicians and the Northern Knights taking on the Canterbury Kings. Both of these were unfortunately rain interrupted. The Spirit versus the Magicians was reduced to 19 overs each, so not too much disruption. The Northern Spirit went into bat first. We're given a good start by Anderson and Halliday, both scoring at 35 at the top of the innings. And they went on to make 124 off their 19 overs. McKay with 4 wickets. She really was the who put the brakes on for on the bowling side of things. Not only that, but then she went on to open the batting as well for the Canterbury Magicians, scoring 28 off just 29 balls. With Cox scoring 31 and Strathwaite 38. The top 3 really made some good inroads into that total, and they managed to chase it down and score. Chase down the 124 for 5 was what the Northern Spirit scored. The Canterbury Magicians scored 129 for 4 off 16.3 overs. So still with 2.5 overs left to spare on the old DLS method. So congratulations to the Canterbury Magicians. In the second game, the Canterbury Kings had their full 20 overs, or they would have done if they weren't bowled out. They were bowled out for 118 in that final over. Top score there was Astle with 36 off just 22 balls down at the order. But again, too many batsmen getting out in single figures, 7 batsmen in total getting out very cheaply there. The wickets were spread around the bowlers. No bowlers took more than 2 wickets in that one. Yes, a good all-round bowling effort by the Northern Knights. In response, and as they chased down the total with due to rain, though, they were restricted to just 14 overs, and obviously the DLS method came into action. Seifert and Clark made a good start with 24 and 16, and then Kane Williamson saw them home with 34 not out, along with the de Grandhomme, who scored 14 not out off just 9 balls to reach their total of 93 for 2 off 10.2 overs. So making the total with more than 3 overs to spare. Yeah, so a good win for the Central Knights with their stars back. Where does that leave the table then? Well, that means that the Wellington Blades are still at top of the women's table, with the Canterbury Magicians climb up into second ahead of Auckland Hearts in that one. Canterbury Magicians having played one more game than the other 2 teams there. Northern Spirit sat in 4th, Target Sparks and Central Hinds rounding out the table on the women's side. On the men's side of things, we have those 3 teams at the top, all on 20 points, the Firebirds, the Stags, and the Kings. The Northern Knights climb up into fourth on 12 points now with that win, 8 points behind that lead group there, with the Volts and the Auckland Aces rounding out the bottom of the table in that one. You have now started the day the best way up to speed with all of the important sports news. Have a fantastic weekend, folks. It's almost here. And I hope, yes, you really don't forget to join me at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning for the morning sports briefing.